So I got a friend of mine at work named Mario, and I was giving him some crap the other day for watching a movie called The Mummy. 2017's The Mummy with Tom Cruise. And he said, Ryan, have you ever seen it? And I said, no, I just heard bad things from, well, everyone. And he said, Ryan, you can't judge a movie if you haven't seen it. And I thought there was some validity to that. And then another friend at work said, Ryan, do a review. So here we are, I'm taking a request, and today we're going to be talking about the 2017 version of The Mummy. (2017's) The Mummy, the reboot. Why is this a reboot? Well, there's only two reasons why you do a reboot. Number one, if the source material wasn't done justice. If you feel like there is something there that can be salvaged and this can still be a great movie, by all means, do a reboot. Is that the case with this movie? No. The original movies, I think the original one was in like 1930. I think this movie's been done 17 times. The latest movies, the one with Brendan Fraser, you remember those? Those were fine for what they were, and what they were kind of a family-friendly adventure movie, and it worked on that level. There's really nothing that needed to be salvaged or improved upon. So, number one, that's not the case. The other reason you do a reboot is that if you have something to add to it, if the source material was fine, but there's something you can add to it that makes it better than the original. Is that the case with this movie? Absolutely not. So that begs the question, why does this movie exist? Well, later on, in about 3 to 5 minutes, we're going to talk about that. In the meantime, let's talk about this movie. The Mummy stars Tom Cruise, who is a looter of antiques, a tomb raider, if you will, who finds himself in the Middle East and discovers a sarcophagus dumped in a pool of mercury. Now, for some reason, mercury is a buffer for mummies or evil. I'm not quite sure. The movie never explains it. But whoever built this trap to make sure that this ancient evil never sees the light of day again, built a mechanism to make sure it could escape said pool of mercury, and Tom Cruise, being Tom Cruise, inherently knows which rope to shoot to trigger the mechanism, and the sarcophagus rises, and we have our movie. That's right, things are about to get cray. And so now the Mummy, this ancient evil, is unleashed upon the world, and it walks amongst us now, and it can turn people into slave followers, and it can create sandstorms, and it can print its face on a sandstorm, and only Tom Cruise can stop it. And does this sound familiar to anybody else? Yeah, thought so. The female of the movie is played by Annabelle Wallis, and for the most part, she does a good job, except for the fact that there is absolutely no chemistry between her and Tom Cruise, and I mean none. The way these characters are set up, they're just kind of bickering and bickering and bickering and bickering, and by the time the third act comes about, somehow they care about each other, and that was never established. It is a huge leap of the imagination, and just wow. In this movie, Tom Cruise has a sidekick, and I believe that is played by Jake Johnson. I may be wrong about that. It's hard to remember because I wanted to forget this character so much. He is the comic relief, and whenever you introduce a comic relief character into a movie, think Rob Schneider in Judge Dredd. It's usually never a good thing. Is it a good thing in this movie? Absolutely not. The jokes the character throws at us fall flat, and at some point, mild spoiler here, he dies, and we rejoice. But no, he comes back, once again, mild spoiler, as a zombie/spirit, so he is here to annoy us the entire time. And if you think that sounds familiar, it really does, because that's exactly what they did in An American Werewolf in London. And I'm sure that was an homage. Surely they weren't ripping off their source material at all. Russell Crowe did a fine job as well. He wasn't outstanding like he was in The Nice Guys or A Beautiful Mind, but he was just, kind of par of the road Russell Crowe. It's like, I'm here, and I'm delivering lines. And I'm not bad, but I'm not good. I'm just Russell Crowe. Now, sure, I'm sure it sounds like I'm shitting on this movie. Let me talk about what I like about the movie. The special effects, they were very good. I enjoy them. Tom Cruise's performance, and I haven't talked about that yet because I wanted to, save some good things. He does a fine job. I don't think he's given a lot to work with, but what he's given to work with, he commits to 100%. We've seen this time and time again in his work. Say what you will about the guy in his personal life or whatnot, but when it comes to acting, he gives 110%, and it comes across on the screen. You can see that in this. It's just not enough with the source material, and let's just talk about that. So overall, I want to say that this movie suffers from identity crisis. It doesn't know what it wants to be. Is this a horror movie? Is this an action movie? I don't know. I don't think the movie knew. And speaking of confusion, let's talk about the ending of this movie. It was confusing and anticlimactic at the same time. I had to go back and watch it again just to figure out, oh, okay, that happened, so that's how it ended. That's stupid. Remember at the beginning of this video when I said I was going to explain why this movie exists? Well, here it is in a nutshell. Universal Studio has the rights to all these IPs or intellectual properties, such as these old monsters from the 30s and 40s. I'm talking about The Creature of the Black Lagoon. I'm talking about The Invisible Man. I'm talking about Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, and yes, The Mummy. So, Universal Studios has done what a lot of people have done, like Warner Brothers. They're looking at Marvel and they're saying, wow, they've built a cinematic universe and look at the money they're raking in. We should do that as well. So now we have the DCEU, and now we have what Universal Studios is wanting to call the Dark Universe, which is probably the worst name ever. They want to create their own cinematic universe filled with all of these IPs that we grew up with and we're all familiar with. Everyone knows the Wolfman. Everyone knows the Mummy. Who wouldn't want to see this? Well, it turns out a lot of people. You know what? I really wish they would make a remake of The Creature of the Black Lagoon. Said no one ever. Now, the next step in this dark universe is supposed to be the next movie, which is The Bride of Frankenstein, which boggles me because they're just skipping Frankenstein and going to The Bride of Frankenstein. That makes no sense. But anyway, Universal Studios was on board saying, yeah, 100% we know that The Mummy didn't do very well at the box office, and we are aware of this, and we are making changes, and we still have confidence in this product, and we are still going forward. Until last week, when they put out this statement, and allow me to read. After thorough consideration, Universal Studios and director Bill Condon have decided to postpone Bride of Frankenstein. None of us want to move too quickly to meet a release date when we know this special movie needs more time to come together. Bill is a director whose enormous talent has been proven time and time again, and we all look forward to continuing to work on the film together. Ladies and gentlemen, that is called damage control. That is called Hollywood spin, and these guys are worried. They have sunk so much money into this. That is basically a message saying, we need to decide whether to cut our losses right now, or we really, really need to fix ourselves. So I don't see this as a good thing at all. Guys, this movie has a lot of problems. However, if you're one of those people that just like to turn off their brain, just watch something and see stuff blow up real good, you may enjoy this. But for this review, I'm going to have to give The Mummy 2 out of 5. So did you guys see the movie? What did you think about it? Was I entirely too harsh? Was I just a straight up dick? Mario, if you're watching this video, no need to comment. I know what you think. But in the meantime, what do you think? Leave your comments below. If you like this channel, click that thumbs up. And if you want to see more, by all means subscribe. Peace out.